Hey friends, today I'm going to cover an FAQ where we're going to go over the most frequently asked questions around staying encouraged or fighting off discouragement. We're going to talk about some leadership principles and attracting or finding new clients. And I put this as an FAQ, but I think we need to call it problem solving. And so before I get into my thoughts on that, I was thinking about just this idea of problem solving in our businesses and thinking, okay, here's what I know about being a business coach for the past 6 years. If we ask the wrong question, we'll get the wrong answer, and then we'll get the wrong result, and it'll put us in a loop. And so I thought about, okay, how do we actually problem solve in our business? And I did write down 5 steps. I suppose I should have gotten my iPad out to write them down, but I'll say them. And if you guys want to come back, I'm sure some of this you'll remember. The first is we have to actually identify the problem. What's the problem? Complaining about something isn't the problem, right? So if I look at my coaching business and I'm like, I'm trying to think about what's a problem we're looking at right now. Like, we just want to get more efficient with our retention efforts. But if I'm just like, how do I make people work harder? That's the wrong question. The right question might be, how do I set up a system to follow up with people consistently so we catch them before they hit a big patch of discouragement or something like that, right? So the first thing that we need to look at when we look at problem solving is we need to identify the problem, number one. Number two, we need to know what to do. And third, we need to know how to do it. Those are two separate things. And I think we smush those, or we smush really all of these steps into one thought, and that's where we get really messed up. So step one is we have to identify the problem. Step two, we have to know what to do. Third, how to do it. Usually we have to ask for help here. Fourth, we need to be in the proper emotional state to actually do the actions that we're supposed to do and that we know right now we know how to do them. And then the fifth part about problem solving is we have to reflect, review, and adjust. So if I were to attempt a problem solve, I would after that say, okay, what went well, what didn't go well, and what adjustments do I need to make moving forward? And if you start to look at your questions as problems instead and start to think about a problem solving method, I think that's going to help a lot. So as I was going through this idea of problem solving method, so let me know if this idea around problem solving for sales and leadership issues is helpful for you. I went through your questions, I printed them out, and I was like, okay, where do we start? And so I can go through these and I can tell you on a surface level the what to do. What I can't do on a Facebook Live, unless we're having a conversation, is I can't identify the core problem. And I can't always give you the details on how to do it because it would just probably take so long. So I'm going to do something different today. And maybe some of you will be like, this is shameless. And some of you will be like, this is very, very helpful. But what I'm going to do today is I am going to answer the questions that you guys put, or most of them, unless you put them after. And then I'm actually going to go to our membership portal, which has our most popular online courses. And I'm going to show you where it's addressed in the portal. Now, the reason I'm doing that is because I want you guys to understand that my surface answer is probably not the right answer. I need to be, or the full answer. I feel like I need to be honest and transparent about that. I also want to let you know that if you resonate with my surface first answer, that you know that there is hope for the other answer. And so sometimes when I do these videos, I don't do a good enough job explaining showing you exactly where you can go and how to do it. Now, this particular membership that I'm going to show you, it's only $47 a month. So it'll be an easy place for you to go in, get what you need, and go from there. So hopefully that helps. And if not, I don't know. Sorry. Okay, let's go ahead and start at the top. So the first question was from Anita, and she said, she needs help with everything. I'm losing enthusiasm, for my business, and I'm not sure why. And my initial thought was, okay, we have to figure out what is the core challenge here. So I have three questions for you, Anita. Number one is, what's the core challenge here? Number two is, instead of losing enthusiasm, how do you want to feel? And then the third question is, in order to feel that way, what actions do I need to take? Now, I did happen to go in and ask Anita, can you tell me more? And she said she feels she's losing enthusiasm because she's running out of people. And so if we look at our problem, right, solving approach, first identify the core problem. So we're discouraged because of the feeling of running out of leads. So we identified it. It's not discouragement, it's the running out of leads. Then we need to ask, well, do you know what to do? I'm thinking maybe not if she's discouraged. And do you know how to do it? So there's a few different ways to get more leads. You can attend like vendor type events. You can attend business networking groups. There's online and offline ones. You can have people host. You can get referrals. You can use social media engagement strategies and a bunch of them. And so here, I promise I show you, like, inside our portal, there is a place where it says how to get 30 contacts each month. And there's an overview and a few different strategies here, reconnecting with people, vendor events, referrals, business networking events. If you want to look at social media engagement, we have a few different options here. I'd start with this, right? How do I set up my profile? And then here we have increasing a friends list with two full videos, and then an action plan that you can print out. So if you need more help with that, then just let us know and we'll give you the link and how to join. Let me know if any of that, if you guys are watching, if any of that is helpful for you. The second one is distractions. Mary says, I have so many distractions. And I think that we can just take a few minutes to be proactive. What are the questions I have, or what are the distractions that typically come up? And how can you make a plan to cut them out? It's sort of like if you're eating and you're like, I'm eating too many Oreos. Well, what's the distraction from the meal plan, right? It's the Oreos. Okay, well, maybe I should stop buying Oreos. That would maybe be a good start, right? So we can cut them out. There's some wisdom from a book called Free Agent Nation. And in order to stay focused and be a good self-employed person, you need 4 things: routine, dedicated workspace, purpose, and community. So set those things up. And then I have like a soul-searching question for you. Do you want to be distracted? Yesterday, my business partner, Karen, and I, and some of you guys might know Karen, we were talking about our calendar for the year. We didn't want to do it. And so we wanted to be distracted. And sometimes I think we need to be honest with ourselves on whether or not we want to be distracted or if we want to be productive. Inside the Emerge Surge, we have a whole section, getting stuff done. So we have yearly and business goals, some simple goal setting, non-negotiables, setting up your planner, setting yourself up for consistency, and then some scenarios. So if, Mary, you need some additional resources to really get yourself organized and focused, just let us know. Karen is finding difficulty in getting focused, having energy and enthusiasm, and finding folks to talk to in our currently buttoned down world. So I think it starts with having a goal. We recommend a goal of 30 new contacts a month, and to really focus on that if you're really trying to build your business into a long-term full-time business. So I think it's the start. And then the other really big thing I recommend is either creating an impact journal, which is just a notebook where you write down 3 people you positively impacted that day through your business. The other thing I recommend is the 5-minute journal app. I think that we need to wrangle our motivation with some more intention. So at the beginning of the day, if you get the 5-minute journal app, it'll say, what are 3 things are you grateful for? What are 3 things that you would make today great? And this is where, for me, I'll write down 3 things in my business I'm grateful for. And then I'll also put down what are the 3 things I need to accomplish that day. And that'll give me a little bit of a boost. The other thing about motivation is if you look at successful people, they're not motivated all the time. They're not motivated more than you are. They just work instead of even when they're not motivated. And I think that's an important lesson to consider. Janet, what she's finding hard right now is sponsoring and people not just joining to get a deal on the starter kit and then ghosting me. So usually when this happens, it's because the positioning, right, is do you want to get this customer kit or do you want to get this pack, right? It's like a launch pack or a business builder pack. It's a killer deal, right? They like the products and that's how they end up signing up as a distributor, but they haven't agreed to be a distributor. And so what I recommend here is, and then this also has to do with Janet's challenge about team selling and meeting goal, is instead of just upgrading folks, I want you to consider doing an actual business overview. So most of the people we work with will chat with some for about half an hour to maybe sell a $150 product. But their business spiel is like, want to do the business, and they're asking for like a lifelong commitment. And so what I recommend is to actually have an outline, a business overview outline. And so again, what I told you is I would share with you what resources we have. This is our membership portal, the Emerge Surge, if you're catching late. Under the start 1 to 2 new builders a month, we have a section that is recruiting conversation and invitation. And you can see how to schedule recruiting appointments and how to outline the whole thing, which will be super, super helpful when it comes to people disappearing or not. I think it's so important that everyone is on the same page with what everything means. And I think that's going to bring a lot of peace when it comes to leadership, but we don't know how to engage in those conversations. And so you want to learn about why they want to start a business and what's the money for, and then give them a next step or a milestone. So hopefully that helps. The last one I'm going to cover for today is, and maybe I'll come back to some others later, is Courtney's, actually I'm going to cover 2 more. Courtney's question around getting discouraged. 2 huge clearance sales. PM them the exact reorder link, which they seem to be excited. They don't check out. Is it December, January, or is it just me? So as someone who kind of has their phone around them all the time, or especially has an Apple Watch, I'm not always in a position to do something. So I think what's important is if you're getting we found really a lot of success with this, and our clients have too. If you're letting someone know, hey, here's this direct link, at the end of the week or at the end of the month is when I try to close up my action items, like before Friday. And this is actually how I closed a one-on-one client that is a company owner. She liked my follow-up so much that it kind of pushed her over to hire me. And it was just, hey, I just want to, connect with you about this thing. Make sure you didn't, if you change your mind, that's okay. I just don't want you to slip through the cracks, and I'm closing all my loops before the weekend. And that verbiage is so helpful. And so basically what you're doing is you're doing the message, right? You're letting people know about the sales. And the people that are interested, we're just creating a list of people that we expect that will order. And then on the last day to connect with them in the morning, say, hey, just want to make sure you were able to do this. I'm closing all loops before the weekend. And I want to make sure you don't slip through the cracks. Works, it's not going to get every single person, but it's going to work way better than doing nothing and freaking out. Anytime you have an experiment or a sale or a promotion, it doesn't go as well as you thought it would. See it as a failed experiment, not a failed you. So just look at the whole thing, right? The whole promotion, say what went well, what didn't go well, and what adjustments do I need to make for the next promotion. And that way we take those lessons. It's not a failure, it's a lesson. I was coaching one of my clients yesterday, she's a six-figure earner, and she's kind of getting back out of the management mode game and into the customers and enrolling and getting back in that groove. And so what she shared is she was really nervous that the event that she was going to have, nobody was going to show up at, which I think we all get nervous about that, right? And I said, well, it'll either go one of two ways. First way is it'll go great. Second, it'll go okay. And the third, I guess that's three ways, is it'll totally bomb. No one will show up, and you'll have a great story to encourage all of your team members moving forward for the next 5 to 10 years. Because it's going to happen to everyone. And if we're all going to have setbacks, we're going to have successes, and we're going to have setbacks. I think in order to really create momentum and confidence in your business, it's whether it's a success or a setback, to ask what went well, what didn't, what am I going to adjust next time, especially if it goes well, but in order to salvage any sort of loss. The last question I'm going to cover today is going to be for Claudia. And she says, what's hard for me is being intentional with my time. I'm a teacher, and I've always found it difficult to manage between the two. For people who work, right? So you have a full-time job plus that. First of all, I want to acknowledge, Claudia, if you're a teacher right now, thank you. It is not an easy environment to be teaching in today. And so I want to make sure that you are recognized and appreciated for that role that you have in our community. I know it's been very, very challenging. Now, for people who work full-time, I recommend using Monday night for inviting, Thursday night and Saturday morning for appointments. Once you are doing the inviting and the appointments, right, either builder appointments or customer appointments, then you will be then you'll at least start to have a steady stream of customers and or builders. Now, if you have other things that you need to do for your business, I just do a Monday night after you have completed your inviting and kind of book the rest of your schedule for the week. Social media can come in the morning or right when you get off work. We have, and I think I showed you guys this earlier, we have a whole section in our membership called Getting Stuff Done. And we were with a lot of people who work part-time. I think there's this idea, there's these contradicting ideas, right? It's like, I could do it in 5 minutes a day, or I have to be all in. And actually our part-time people tend to do the best because they're more focused. This one here, setting up your planner, would be really, really helpful if you wanted to join our membership, and it'll walk you through step by step how to, in essence, make a plan for your business if you're working full-time or if you're working part-time. But I would go with Monday night for inviting, Thursday night and Saturday morning for events, one-on-ones, group events, or whatever, and then fill in admin, professional development, just kind of around all of those things. And I think that's a really good start. So I think that's all I'm going to cover for today, because we covered those pretty thoroughly. I hope this was helpful for you. If you guys want details on how to join that membership that I showed you, it's only $47 a month. It's online with checklists and templates and stuff, and it covers basics of time management, sales, recruiting, and social media. And you can do it on your own at your own pace. We want to make sure that's available for you if you kind of feel like you're floundering out there a little bit more than you would like. If you need more help with leadership, let us know. We have some other stuff for you. All right. I think that's good for now. I'm going to go say hi to my kiddos. They just got home and go to my next client. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your week.